What's going on, everyone? So, the Los Angeles Lakers, about a week ago now, signed Devonte Graham to the South Bay Lakers. And it was very interesting. One, it was like really quiet. Right? It wasn't like a lot of buzz around it or like talk about it. Even with South Bay, we've had like, you know, G League guys and rookie guys and all kinds of stuff that have signed with South Bay, and you heard more news about it than Devonte Graham. Wonder if that was deliberate. Lakers kind of wanted to keep that hush hush low key. Because Devonte Graham, he's 29. He is a veteran in this league. He's been a bit of a journeyman. He is the kind of guy that is a vacuum scorer, right? He's a guy that, when he's on, and he's cooking. But when he's not on, he can be pretty bad. But a lot of talk, a lot of buzz about a potential Lakers trade. And if the Lakers pull off a trade, likely multiple, which the Lakers are looking to do, it's very likely that they're going to need to round out their roster with depth and potentially guard depth, point guard depth, things like that, right? If you trade a D'Lo, you trade a Gabe Vincent, right, you're going to need to go and get guys that can handle the point guard duties and ideally put the ball in the hoop. Go get you buckets. Devonte Graham defensively doesn't really give you much. He's a little undersized. He's 6'1" in height, so he's not a guy that's going to be able to get after it defensively. But as a guy that come in, give you 12 to 15 minutes and give you 15 points in that time, as just like this like Lou Williams, Malik Monk type role, I think is fine, right? If the Lakers pull off a trade. Well, we've gotten 2 games under our belts with Devonte Graham and the South Bay Lakers in the showcase. First game was not great, but it was his first game in a long time. He had his struggles. He was like 3 of 12 in that game. But this most recent game, however, you finally saw what you wanted to see from Devonte Graham, right? Gave you 24 points, 6 made threes, 5 assists, right? Did it all. Again, that's what he does. Those 2 games are like great examples of who he is as a player. He's a guy that, like I mentioned, when he is on, get out of his way, give him the basketball. This is a guy that I believe his career high, I think, is like a 50 piece. I think he's given like 50 piece or was like high 40s. But he's a guy that, again, is somebody that can really impact the game from an offensive side of things. He's a veteran. Again, he's journeyman, but he's a veteran. And if the Lakers are able to pull off trades and they get some spots and they need that bench scoring, the Lakers bench, they've been better lately, particularly because D'Lo's been better lately. But Lakers bench this season has not been good. Lakers bench has been bad, struggling, and you need that offensive firepower. And a guy in Devonte Graham could provide that, could give you that. And I did the video when we first signed him, but I wanted to do this follow-up video because I do think it's significant to kind of gauge and see, okay, like what is he providing? Because the Lakers, I guarantee you, are doing the exact same thing. The Lakers didn't bring him in. You don't bring a 29-year-old into the G League, unless you have intentions of doing something with him, right? He's a guy that has been in the NBA. He was on Charlotte for several seasons, went to New Orleans, and then San Antonio, all right? He's a guy that the Lakers brought in because they wanted to get a good look at him. And it makes sense to have him start playing in the G League. Why? Because if he starts playing in the G League, then he's getting reps, he's getting opportunity, right? Like he's working on his game, he's getting in game shape, he's getting in rhythm. Obviously, the G League is not the NBA, but you see a lot of guys like when they get back from rehab and stuff like that after they get an injury or whatever, they'll go and join the G League and they'll play in the G League. And it's like, why? It's because it gives you, a simulated version, actual gameplay. All these guys are going 100% because, they're trying to make a roster. They're trying to make a name for themselves, right? Like, so it is a good kind of situation to put Graham in. That way he can kind of, one, show what he's capable of doing, and 2, also get himself right. Get himself back into shape. But kind of looking at like what he's done over the last like few seasons, so you kind of get an idea in case you're not familiar with who he is. Last 2 seasons, he played with San Antonio. He only played with San Antonio a total of 43 games because he was previously in New Orleans, got traded from New Orleans to San Antonio. But kind of look at the San Antonio time, right? And then we can kind of dive into a little more if you want. But um, last season, 13.6 minutes per game. He shot 4.7 field goals, 35% total from the field, and 30% from three-point range. He is a career 35% three-point shooter from three-point range on 6.4 attempts. 2-point percentage was 52% on 1.1 attempts. So again, small sample size, limited minutes, not great efficiency whatsoever at all. Free throw percentage was 81%, but on less than one attempt. 1.6 rebounds, 2.1 assists, and 5 points. That's what he did last year in only 23 games. But you look at San Antonio the previous year. He played 20 games, 26.4 minutes. He averaged 10 field goals. He shot 38% total from the field, 36% from three-point range on 7.4 attempts, 44.2% on 2.6 attempts from two-point range, 51.3% EFG. Shot 75% from the foul line on 3.6 attempts, so was getting to the foul line. He also averaged 2.5 rebounds, 4 assists, a steal, half a block, and 13 points per game. Now, you're probably, if you're the Lakers, if you're bringing him in, you're probably looking at him somewhere in like the 15 to 20 minute range. And he's a guy that you're hopeful that he could come in and give you, 10 points, 13 points, right? Like if he could do what he did in San Antonio, shoot 36% from three overall, again, he's very inconsistent at times. That's why he's where he's at. All these guys have their issues and reasons, right? It's why they're not on rosters, why they're not on teams. Now, I've talked about the inconsistencies with several players on the Lakers roster. So I'm sure many people are like, Tyler, why would you want an inefficient guy? Big difference, right? Like the only way you're bringing him in is because you've gotten the pieces that you need, right? You've gotten, a Day'Ron Sharpe and Dorian Finney-Smith, and you're just looking for that vacuum scorer. You're just looking for that guy that can come in, and he's never been on a team like the Lakers with LeBron James and Anthony Davis. He's always been on bad teams and in bad situations, right? So what does it look like coming in and playing alongside LeBron and AD? He's going to get attempts that he's never gotten. He's going to get looks that he's never gotten. A guy that you got to keep in mind is Malik Monk. Now, this isn't about who's better or anything. Malik Monk, I think, is better. But the Malik Monk we know right now is not the Malik Monk that came to the Lakers. That Malik Monk had a lot of comparisons to Devonte Graham. Undersized, just a vacuum scorer, a guy that, doesn't play defense, a guy that, isn't going to move the needle, right? Remember, the Lakers signed him for a vet minimum. Now, people were surprised that he signed for a vet minimum because he should have gotten more than that. Probably would have gotten around $5 million or so at that time, $5 to $8 million. And he ended up betting on himself, and now he's making like $17 million a year or something like that. So it worked out for him. But there was a lot of the perception of Devonte Graham were the same of Malik Monk. But Malik Monk thought and wanted to prove that he was better and that he could be this just more consistent, be a better scorer, things like that. And he ended up going to the Lakers, and he was that. And he used the Lakers spotlight, and it really worked out. Could the Lakers maybe get something similar and kind of have a similar effect with a Devonte Graham, right? Could we kind of get that Malik Monk 2.0? It's incredibly low risk, high reward. If I'm being honest, and this is just me, Lakers have been linked to like a Markelle Fultz, right? I would rather go kind of the defensive route, personally. If I'm the Lakers and you need a guard to replace, say, Gabe Vincent, right, in the backup role, I'd rather go get a Markelle Fultz or an Elfrid Payton or, even like a Dennis Smith Jr., right? They're not going to give you much offensively, but they're just much better defensively, athletic, all of that, got better size. I prefer that. Now, if you Now, say you have 2 roster spots and you're kind of in the market for 2 guards. You have your backup center locked up. You have the things that you need, right? And it's like, okay, you can bring in a Fultz and a Graham, then sure, I'm all for that. But I'd rather have the versatility and the defense, the dirty work guy, the hustle guy, than Devonte Graham, who, yeah, I mean, he hustles stuff like that, but he doesn't have the size. He's not this defensive guy. He's more of just like, when he's on, get out of his way and let him cook. Right? When he's not on, it's kind of like, oh, get this guy out of the game type thing. But we'll see. Time will tell. I just wanted to kind of do a follow-up on him because he did. He had a very good game in the G League yesterday, so kind of wanted to touch on it. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion. Pass a question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? Do you like the idea of Devonte Graham? Do you think, like, yes, he makes a ton of sense? Go get him. Bring him in. Do you think, no, stay away from him? Silly. Don't get him. Don't acquire him. However you feel, whatever your thoughts are. I'd love to hear it either way, so let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot, so we enjoy these types of videos. Truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.